What's going on? Welcome back to the Men on the Internet podcast. As always, we have the Louder Hell, Kelby Joseph. And as always, we have the partner in the orange, the street cone, Sunil.
King of the boys.
Hey.
Yes, and I'm your engineer, Chris. What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. Tired a little bit, but you know what? The show is here. We're on. We're rocking. And you?
I'm chilling. I had a little shindig last night. I saw Frank. I saw a bunch of old friends.
So I saw on something you were hanging out with people that you went to high school with. And you were like really focused on your ice cream? Or was it your frozen yogurt or something? Everybody was like, yay. And Chris was like, but this frozen yogurt, though, hit kind of different right now. You remember this?
Are you sure that was me?
Yeah, because you would just, maybe it was a can of tuna. I don't know. But you were just like really into it.
Yeah, I like to sit in the streets and eat tuna from the can.
That does sound like some Chris.
That sounds like
He was really into it.
Oh, no, that was Friday night or Thursday night. I ran in, my friend was in town from the Bay. And I went to go hang out, and we had ice cream. It was After's ice cream. It was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But last night, I had some other friends over, too, from high school, too. Yeah, we were all chilling in the backyard.
What'd you guys do?
We just sat around. We played Rage Cage. I don't know if y'all play Rage Cage.
Is that a video game?
No, it's a drinking game.
Oh, drinking course was back?
Yeah.
How are you awake right now?
We all vaxxed and waxed.
I wasn't thinking about that at all.
Okay.
I just know that when Chris drinks, the hips swing.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I didn't get super drunk actually.
Oh, you have evolved.
I'm classy now.
Excuse me, were you drinking tequilas?
No. I had Modelo's though.
Oh my.
That's how you know it's gonna be a mellow night. If I have Modelo's, it's cool.
Yeah. There's another drink that I Tecate. Man, I had a horrible time off some Tecate one time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Did you like it? No.
It was just a little too carbonated for me.
Yeah.
I also scraped the side of my car that day.
That'll do it.
If Alicia is listening to this, she knows that night. It was a legendary night. Yeah. Yeesh. What about you, Sunil? What you been up to?
This week was just chilling. Nothing too exciting. Happy Father's Day to everybody that's out there that's a father.
Yep. Yo, y'all gotta stop texting me Happy Father's Day. I'm not a dad.
Yeah.
I know I'm everybody's big bro, but I ain't your daddy's. So kind of chillax on that. I tried to hook up with Sunil 10 times this week.
Try to hook up with him.
I went to his job 90 times, and I walked in there confident, chest out, nipples poking, and I went in there and I was like, "Yo, I'm just gonna go to Sunil's office." They're like, "He's not here at all." And then I hit Sunil up, "Yo, where you at?" And he was like, "I ain't working today." And so I went back the next day. They were like, "He's not here." I was like,
I took a personal day, my man.
I was so upset.
Why don't you just tell me you needed me for something, and then I would have made things happen?
I like to be popping up.
The
on
real
people.
secret, he hasn't worked there for 30 years.
A job I've had for 6 months. I haven't worked there for 30 years.
So technically correct, I guess. Yeah, I try to pop up on them, but there's also another reason. Some of them girls over there who work there, like I like to just have them see me.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Sounds so creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like to be present.
Yeah.
only because there's only 2 girls there that are under the age of 30, and everybody else is over the age of probably like 45.
That's how I like them. Sugary. Yeah. No, actually, I just went for Sunil, but it'd be like random times, like in your week where it's like you have things that are planned and then they like go too long, go too short. So that's like your time to go do stuff. That's why it's hard for me to plan things. Yeah. So I'll be popping up on Sunil trying to see. Sometimes I bring him donuts.
You've never brought me donuts once.
I eat them in the car.
Oh,
On the way. That's what it is.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Kelby would be the type of person to try to make some kind of like grand gesture, but then just keep it to himself.
No,
and still try to take credit for actually doing something.
Though.
Yeah,
you
it
do
definitely.
that. So like,
Wait, no.
I mean, no.
I don't do that.
That's not what I meant.
It's like, yo, I brought this girl flowers. But then I just kept them in the car. I just left them in my car and saved them for Mother's Day.
Yeah. No, but the worst part about it is sometimes I have like done something, but then the person's not there. you know, but then it's like you can't get credit for it because I need my credit. You know, if I did it, then let me know I got it. But they're like not there, or you know, I didn't tell them that I was gonna do. And like sometimes it's a spontaneous thing.
But that's how you do it, though. That's you specifically. You like surprise your support.
Yeah.
You don't tell them you're showing up, and then all of a sudden you're there, and you're like, "Oh, kill me."
Exactly. But that's like, I don't know if I'm really gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna support you. I don't know.
Right.
So when I get there, I'm surprised too.
Yeah. Dang, I made it.
I'm glad Kelby told the truth because
we made it.
It's really more about just like he don't want to commit to nothing.
This is true. I don't know if I can do this, but if I do it, you better be
said,
happy.
I don't know if I can. That change that can to want to. I don't know if I want to do that.
Because I do a lot of things I don't want to do. You know, like I probably need to stop doing that. You know, like I still cut some people's hair.
But you don't want to cut hair anymore?
I would say most of the time I don't want to. Oh. You know, I do enjoy it while I'm doing it, but the idea of it is like,
is it just because they're used to you cutting it?
Yeah, so exactly. But even sometimes
like
it's
that
just
price.
Like, no, because like I think even sometimes it's just me like not wanting to disappoint somebody, so I'll just be like, sure, like I'll do it. But like when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, I so enjoy this. But then when I'm thinking about it, like, oh, can I get a haircut Friday? I'm like, I guess so, sure, you know. But that's how it is. Like, I think soon I need to learn boundaries. Like, I'm gonna start saying no to things.
Say no. No means no.
Healthy boundaries, man.
Yeah,
it's important. Going back to last week's topic of self care. Boundaries are important.
Mac Miller has a song about self care.
Mac Miller does? Is it on the last album?
Self care. Yeah,
the last album is so good.
I love the last album.
It's real good. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. All right, what has been going on this week? Oh, happy Juneteenth! We're a little bit late on that, but enjoy my Juneteenth. You guys do anything special?
I thought deeply about Juneteenth.
Wow.
And I liked every post that somebody said happy Juneteenth.
Damn. Real changes. Sweet.
What'd you think about the whole, like, just, I guess, the 2 days of Twitter went crazy because of, obviously the government making Juneteenth a federal holiday? What'd you feel about the back and forth?
I didn't really see the back and forth.
Oh man.
But I didn't know about Juneteenth growing up. I didn't know about it.
I learned about Juneteenth last year.
I learned about Juneteenth about 10 or 12 years ago or so. When I moved to LA, that's when I learned about it. I feel like Juneteenth is a little bit of a weird holiday. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around it because I feel like most white holidays are due to victorious activity. So it's like a white person does something that's incredible and then we cherish it. Mm-hmm. But then this one is not something that a black person did that we are cherishing. It's like we stopped doing something bad. So I'm just kind of like, it doesn't give me a sense of like power as being a black person. It just gives me like, okay, I guess like it's kind of weird. It's a weird thing for me to like wrap my head around. But I still get it. Like I still feel the like validation of independence and like the joy of it and all that. But I just don't get a sense of victorious activity from it. Like Black History Month is all victorious things, you know? It's like we created this, we overcame that, we did this, but this one it was just like, it's like we didn't do anything.
Yeah, but I think, at the end of the day, like years and years down, I think these holidays kind of just turn into days for car salesmen to make money.
Like,
well, yeah, they turn into more of just like bullet points. You know what I mean? Like you could ask people what Veterans Day is, and they won't even know what Veterans Day is, or they get the Memorial Day, Veterans Day, President's Day, like all these things, like they just are days off for a lot of people. Yeah. And I think with Juneteenth, like I think it's important. I mean, if it wasn't for it coming up last year, I think a lot of people that aren't, in the black community never get exposed to this. Like, it was just like a black thing. So, speaking to my black friends, they're like, oh yeah, we always knew about it. It was just like a black thing. Now, like, so white people are, jumping on board and all this kind of stuff. But the conservative queen CO, Candace Owens,
oh gosh,
she went in.
What did she say?
Saying that it's lame. It's just another way for Democrats to, like, probably some plantation talk and all that kind of stuff like she usually does. But Azalea Banks came at her.
What did she say? Basically,
she put this long Instagram post talking about how her mentality actually, if based off of her logic, and then played out this whole scenario about, like, I don't know, I don't know if we want to read it on air, but whatever. But it was just like it was just going at Candace Owens, and like Candace Owens, I think, is exposing herself like bigly this year, as far as just not being like, she's getting a lot of people coming at her about, like, do you speak for the black community and you don't have any black friends? You speak for the black community and you're never around the black community. Like,
hey, let me ask you guys this real quick. Did you see a picture of Kamala in the room with all of her friends and there was like no black people in there? You saw that?
I mean, she's only half, right?
Well, at least you recognize that.
Because the other half is me.
That's it. She's our child. So I don't think Candace is necessarily right and or wrong on that. There is a lot of signaling that comes from our politicians. They do a lot of that, like
virtue signaling.
Yeah, they do a lot of this, like, theatrics to show that they care and stuff like that. But, like, if you really think about it deeply, just for like 7 seconds, last year 26 million people walked the streets yelling and screaming about George Floyd and about how activity with black people and police was wrong, and it didn't make any sense.
Needed to be reformed.
And it needed to be reformed. And everybody has an opinion about that. There are some people who are right about maybe it doesn't need to be, or there are people who are right about maybe it does need to be. But at the end of the day, 7 or 8 months later, there was a rise in attacks against Asian people, and they got legal representation as far as stopping Asian hate.
They passed the bill, anti-Asian,
and all that stuff, and it happened so quickly, and so it kind of gives you this like sour feeling of like, okay, you're gonna give us Juneteenth, which, again, like I said, like for me, when I think about it, it's not a victorious moment of something that black people did that overcame something. In fact, it kind of like makes me feel a little bit weird about the situation, because the Emancipation Proclamation happened 2 years prior to that, and so these people in Galveston, Texas, just didn't even hear about it, and they were just told like, hey, you're free, so it's like, it's this like weird white savior type moment for me where I'm just like, ugh, I don't know, like I'm happy that the last slaves were freed, but at the same time, like, so when you think about that, it's like, okay, you fought for a day for all Americans to have off or to celebrate or whatever. But when 26 million people asked for some sort of reform, some sort of actual representation in the current modern day legal sense, that just kind of went, So I can't say that Candace Owens is all the way wrong. But I don't necessarily think that it was. I don't know what she said.
She wrong.
No, she's not all the way wrong. If what you're saying is like they're just posturing, like, yeah, there is some of that.
So
like,
is she though?
Well, sure, they all do.
So this is what yeah, I mean,
she's not. But what I'm saying is, she's not all the way wrong, but she's not all the way right either.
She's wrong she's right if this is it. Like if all all the. Obviously, last year there was a concerted effort by, black people, black celebrities, to get out and vote for Joe Biden. You know, Charlemagne interviewed LeBron James, did all of the whole NBA, did their whole thing, like, and the goal was that, you know, Joe Biden is gonna do different things and help out the Black community. If all they got after all of this was a new holiday in Juneteenth, yeah, that's lame, right?
Right.
But I would hope that this is just one of many things that are going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he just became president. I let me not say that, because a lot has happened in the 7 or 8 months that he's been president, and so I'm not going to quickly say, well, that's all we get, right? But it just doesn't feel right. Like it feels like the idea of Juneteenth again for me, you know, where it's not a victorious moment. Like I just don't feel like we as a people did something for ourselves that changed our perspective in our community, in our country, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like nice, but I don't know. Like I have this sense of being underwhelmed. Like I don't know. I don't know what this feeling is, you know?
I mean, what holiday is a victorious moment that we celebrate?
Well, I think that July 4th is a very victorious, pro-American, you know, holiday. And I don't hate July 4th either. You know, because I remember last year, July 4th, there was this like mega anti-July 4th sense. But, you know, I do respect the country, and I understand like there's no nation that's without sin, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I do respect where I live, and I want everybody to have the ability to be happy where they live and to live the best possible life and stuff like that. And I respect July 4th because of the ideas that were set forth in 1776 still have the ability to come to power today. You know, even if it takes a long time, we are still making concerted effort today to make where we live the best place that it could possibly be. And I still think that in the future, it could still be that way, and we're well on our way. But I think July 4th is like that. President's Day is like that. I think Memorial Day is like that. I think
I don't know if President's Day is more of like people, right? It's not necessarily like a victorious thing. Like I said, Memorial Day isn't necessarily victorious things. It's remembering people that have died for our country.
Sure, but that's because I think of it that way mainly because we put so much emphasis and so much respect on our soldiers and people of the in the military and all the branches, that I think that when you're a fallen soldier that's so victorious, like you died defending and protecting your country, that's not just something that's just like overseen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
I think Juneteenth is important because it's the I guess it's like the final step, or the Emancipation Proclamation actually coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So that's like I think an important thing to commemorate, because you know, that's basically the last of the slaves, right?
Yeah.
Even though they were already free, you know, back in there's no Twitter, there's no Instagram, there's not like the message didn't get out to them. So to be told that, you know, and unfortunately it took 400 years, you know, but whatever the case may be, that date is a great way of commemorating, or at least remembering that, hey, this Emancipation Proclamation that is geared to making everybody equal, that wasn't like the most horrible sin that America has ever done, to try to correct that, and this is coming to fruition. I think it is an important day, and I think
I agree with that.
It is an important day because, like I said, it's not nationally taught. Like I never learned about Juneteenth in school, and to now take it from something that I didn't know to something that the whole country is now going to be forced to remember at least once a year, I think is important. I think that it commemorating something like that, all of the stuff that's going to come out. So, June 19th is going to be a day where there's probably going to be this type of like movies made about it, or like, they're going to do, like TBS is going to have one of their marathons of stuff. It's important to keep that in the front of the mind of our nation, to let us know, one, where we came from as far as the negativity of that, and also how far we've come.
Commitment
from that.
To change, commitment to growth.
Because there hasn't really been, to be honest, like thinking back, we don't have anything to commemorate. We don't commemorate the Emancipation Proclamation. We don't commemorate the Civil War. We don't commemorate like all of these steps that we've taken to get rid of this horrible sin. So I think it is important to have a day, because it is such a big part of our history, to not have one day that represents that we got rid of it, and like you said so eloquently, like that which this country was created upon, or the values that this country was created upon, to actually, that's a huge step forward in making it the truth of what our country is actually about. I think it's an important day to commemorate.
I agree with that. I think that when it comes to negative things that's happened in countries, everybody takes a different approach, right? There are some countries who have done horrific things, and they kind of just say like, that is left in the past, right? Like, I think Germany does not celebrate anything Holocaust-ish, right? Like they're just like, we're not talking about it. Like, maybe they learn about it, but they're not commemorating anything about it. They're not commemorating when they stopped. They're not none of that stuff. It's just like, that's the past, done. But I think here in the United States, like, that was the mentality for a while, which kind of made it feel like, because we don't talk about it, maybe it just means like it didn't happen. So I do think it's important that we think about it, especially since it's a hot subject and hot topic today. I just think the timing is a little unsettling, Well, I don't know.
This is the time to be able to do it, just because of the political dynamic. But I think it's different in Germany, because I don't know too much, so I could be completely wrong, but I don't think the Jewish community in Germany is that big. You know what I mean? Like all the Jewish people in Germany left. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's a huge. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I know in this country, it's not like slavery ended and then all those people left. They're still here. The descendants are still here. Like, it's still the integration happened and all this kind of stuff. All that stuff is still around. So the people that like Black people that actually look at that and be like, this is a huge day for us, that the last of the slaves were, realized that they were free. I think it's important because that is still a part of our history, and that it represents people that are still here. Whereas maybe if there was a larger Jewish community in Germany that were like, no, we need to commemorate, that the Nazis were gone and all this kind of stuff, maybe it would be more important there. But maybe those people aren't necessarily needing that representation, or there in that country. They probably, left and scattered and don't trust being in that country. So I think it's a little different in that sense.
I think it's just all approach. Like, how do you want to deal with something? For somebody who's gone through trauma, not to say that I'm talking about myself, but like, there are some people who lock things out of their brain, right? And they're just like, that didn't happen, or don't remember it, or anything like that. And there's other people who fully embrace it and they try to grow on top of it, and they, all that kind of stuff. So I think that this country has just done things taking two approaches. One that's like, hey, that's done, we left it in the past. And then people who are like, I don't know. I actually think that we need to take a more on the nose approach to it. So again, I do think that it's a great moment for us to think upon and to remind ourselves that, I always hear like nothing has changed. Like that's a very popular thing in the Black community. Like things have changed, but nothing has truly changed. And it's like, I think that sometimes we have to take these moments into consideration and and just remember, like, what are we fighting for? Incremental change. It's a every single day thing where, you know, we don't want to look back at yesterday and say like everything's the same as yesterday. Like, if you put your work in every single day to make sure that life is fair, life is okay, life is equal, and there's equal opportunity for everybody in this country, then down the line, in the next generation will have an easier, better, happier life. So that's something that I take away from Juneteenth, and it makes me happy to think about.
Yeah, I'm all for it, and you know, unfortunately, it became political like everything else in this climate. But seems like a time where, you know, all of us as a country can get behind something that is actually a positive thing. You know, that you know, these people that still thought that they weren't free actually were educated that they were free, which is amazing. That they became, you know, I could only imagine like what that feeling was like for those people in Galveston. And this is something that Texas has celebrated for decades. So it's good that the rest of the country is getting on board. I see nothing wrong with it. I understand, you know, how it's being framed by, you know, a certain side of politics, but anytime on Twitter I see somebody say the Democrats or all Democrats, or they say all Republicans, I automatically tune out, because that's agenda. That's a grifter. That's how you could spot a grifter, when they say the Democrats want or the Republicans want. You're grifting, because none of that's party over people. No, we're here for the people. Like,
right.
So,
yeah. So, did you guys do anything?
We already talked about that, but you know, let's go back to what we did for Juneteenth.
Oh, my bad. Chris had his friends over.
I did.
You twittered. My bad. I forgot.
Yo, but I was gonna say another thing happened this week. I think there was a George Floyd statue that was unveiled.
Yeah, I saw that.
How'd you feel about that?
How do you feel, Chris?
Asking me.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Where is it put up? It's put up in a city.
I think it's in New Jersey. I want to say. I'm not sure. I thought that was kind of strange.
Why?
It's just, you know, like, I think it's a little bit of, I think it's just a lot of hypocrisy, right? So a year ago, we were, as a country, ripping down statues of, you know, our people like that were historic figures because of evil that they may have done. And, you know, obviously George Floyd, in my mind, did not deserve to die. I think it was, you know, a horrible thing that happened to him. But I don't know if the commemorating him is, I don't see the point of necessarily commemorating him in a statue form, as far as like, I guess it's kind of what you just said, like what was accomplished, I guess, not necessarily accomplished, but what did he do to now become a statue, I guess? I don't know.
I think the statue is kind of the same thing as Juneteenth, where it's not so much about what happened, like what did we as a people overcome. I think the statue kind of represents this like turning point in the country. Do I think that putting up a statue of George Floyd is the right thing to do? It feels funny. It does feel funny. But I at this point I kind of don't know what the right thing is. You know, like it's I think like it's representative of something, because it was just such a difficult thing that happened and difficult thing to watch, and it meant so much, like the knee of injustice, all the stuff that, you know, that came packaged with George Floyd.
I guess it's the same way we I don't know if celebrate's the right word, but that's the only one I'm thinking about right now is Emmett Till. Yeah. Right? Because
commemorate,
there it is. obviously, you know, it's the horrible what happened to Emmett Till as well. Something that we utilize to, you know, remember about what's horrible about how bad things can get, I guess. Mm-hmm. And sometimes remembering those things, hopefully the goal is to make sure that it doesn't happen again, or, you know, we could realize that we can't let it get to this point again. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It was just, I guess it just matters how much you value a statue, I guess.
Yeah, you know, that's I don't live there, so.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like I think it was Mario Lopez put something up. If like somebody does something, I'm paraphrasing, somebody does something that doesn't affect you at all, and it bothers you, like you could just not say anything.
Yeah, that kind of, you know, like I said, I don't live there, so I don't have to look at the statue every day. It's kind of sad, like to look at, but then again, there's statues of Martin Luther King, you know, so it's like sometimes you gotta look at sad things. So yeah, I mean, I was at this like little gathering, and I was sitting there, and there was a guy who was like by himself, and I noticed he was watching a couple of videos from like really SJW people. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh gosh, he's one of those. But then I was like, you know what? At least because he seemed like a trashy white person, you know?
Yikes.
But then I was like, well, at least it seems like he's trying to learn things so that he can be a better person, which is one thing that I'm learning about like really, really, really far out SJW people. Like their main goal is to try and be the best person that they could be, even though sometimes they're not great at it, you know? But
you really think that that's their intention?
I'm going to give it to them.
That's not what I asked.
I think that's the intention of most of them. No?
Interesting.
I don't know. It seems
I don't
like
think so.
No. What do you think they're trying to do?
Get attention. I think most of the people that are making TikTok videos or making like content, they're content creators.
Right.
I think that the people that not saying that people don't truly strongly feel about those type of movements and stuff like that, but I think there's a big difference between people that are actually doing the work behind certain social justice movements and people that are just trying to gain clout off of them.
Yeah.
And people that are making these TikToks and making these reels and, you know, making content about it that go on and tell you about how you should be acting and how you should be feeling and all this kind of stuff. I don't think they're truly about that life. I think they're just about the clout that it could get. And if they didn't get enough likes, they're probably crying themselves to sleep.
That could happen. But, well, I don't know. Based off of what I saw that guy watching, it at first it bothered me, and then I was just like, maybe he's just trying to learn. So I just didn't want to judge him. You know, I didn't want to judge him too hard. Anyways, enough sad stuff. All right, so I was walking to Target the other day.
Target?
Okay, I walked into Target. And
why you keep calling it Target, bro?
Okay, I'm white trash.
It's called Target.
So I don't have
That's
no money.
Upscale, economical shopping right there.
Ooh, where I went to go buy my Band-Aids. So I was walking into Target. I stepped out of my car, and there was this lady pulling out a baby seat from the trunk. And I had my mask on. So I talk to myself when I have my mask on. And as
opposed to when you don't have your mask on, you're talking to yourself
without the mask.
No, I'd be thinking about it. Like when I don't have a mask on, I start like I was just talking to myself, and then I'm like, oh shoot, people could see I'm talking to myself. But when I have the mask on, I have an oversized mask, so people are not sure. Like, is he just chewing gum? You know? So I was like, damn, she. And she popped up out of the trunk, and she looked at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, she heard me, and she goes, Thank you so much.
All right. Bullet dodge.
I'm going inside. Oh, sorry.
That was so close.
But I did not realize that she could hear me. And that's when I was like, man, I really have to work my whispering.
Kelby comes on this podcast every single week talking about, I'm this king, I'm so confident, all this kind of stuff. Did he actually get scared because he complimented a woman?
Oh, after our conversation 3 weeks ago, I was like, man, I ain't complimenting anybody ever again in my life.
Got him
you
shook.
probably thought you was whispering.
I really thought
you really was like, damn, she fine.
Probably as projected into the mic too. Like,
right, no, for sure. Like in my head, I thought I did. That's what I thought I did.
Nah, you probably blurted it
Oh
out.
man, I was like, God damn, you all fine as hell. She was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I was like, oh.
Oh my god, you had an in.
I'm running.
Do you need help with your bags?
No,
It was a baby seat, bro.
It was a baby seat. The
Red
baby
flag
was
for
in
Kelby.
the bag. Yeah,
That's
in
the
the
Kelby
back.
red
Yeah.
flag.
Yeah, no, I'm out of
Gotcha.
that.
Shut it down.
Yep, yeah, it's a wrap. But after our conversation, I was like, man, I don't want to say anything to anybody ever again in my life. I never say anything nice to anybody because then I already know I'm gonna say it weird and it's gonna come off the wrong way. So it's like, nope, done.
Man, so there's gonna be millions of women that are not gonna get their confidence boost because of this one girl.
They could go, but because of y'all.
Not because of me.
Because
it's
of
because
y'all.
of that one girl that made you all insecure about your compliments.
No, now I don't know how to say compliments anymore. Before I used to be able to say
Just
random
use
sounds.
your words, bro. That's
No.
all we were saying. Don't make noises and point to like
No,
your chin.
no, that's me. I'm weird.
Own it.
Yeah.
Own it.
I'm going to own it to myself from here on out. But yes, I was a little too loud in the parking lot of Target. And
Target, bro.
Target.
Target. Like if you're gonna add an ass, at least say it right. Like, don't say
Target.
yeah, at the parking lot of Target. Hey, let me get the Bluetooth, Chris, because I got a song I want to play for you guys.
Speaking of new music, did you hear my my boy Tory Lanez song with the baby finally came out?
You talking about scat?
Yup.
So I saw the video. How do you guys feel about that? I know Chris
Loved
probably
it.
doesn't know jack about it.
Oh,
Loved it.
I was thinking.
Scat.
No.
Tory Lanez featuring Da Baby.
No.
You didn't like it?
I didn't hear it.
Oh man, the video is
Sorry,
amazing. Tory Lanez is entertaining the fuck out of all of us, playing multiple different characters, dancing his ass off in the video. The baby's being the baby, which is great, and even better, the best part of this video coming out is Megan the Stallion's crazy ass said it never would happen. And thank you, Tory Lanez, overcoming once again these slanders from this toxic woman.
Hold on. Whoa. We do not tear down black queens.
No, but I uplift black kings. And Tory Lanez is a black king that's being slandered in these streets. And you know what he continues to do? Win. And you know who got emotional? Megan. And you know who came to everybody's support? The baby.
Yo, half of Kamala right now is freaking out. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna say it.
Shoot, is your secret name Partisan Fontaine? My goodness.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, that's yeah. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. So
y'all too scared you out here like, oh, we don't degrade black kings and all this kind of stuff, and then you sit here while black king is being degraded and you say nothing.
Didn't he shoot a girl?
No, that's what was allegedly.
This is true. That's alleged. It's true. That's
and see, look at the narrative that you continue to create.
You're right. That's alleged. You're right.
This is what it's okay for black kings to just be a legend and make that their narrative.
No, but
and you have
you degraded her character though.
Because
what did he just say, Chris?
Her character is what she's doing.
What did she do?
She went out and she said when Tory Lanez initially promoted this song, Megan Thee Stallion came out and said the baby ain't gonna let that song come out.
Right. It wasn't cleared.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the song came out and the video came out like Tori said it would.
Okay.
And then
what? Y'all having a good day?
I'm just surprised that Megan Nees is mad at Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, that's a fact.
First of all, I'm not whatever you guys claim to be that. Just because I don't have old man knees like you two do. That's what. See, this is what keeps happening. Everybody, like when you try to uplift an actual black king, the peanut gallery is gonna come here and try to degrade the people that also want to uplift these black men.
What did Tory do that allowed him to be a black king? Well, how did he earn his crown?
Continues to overcome. He is an independent artist. The minute he went independent, all of a sudden he's shooting women. All of a sudden, these industry women are coming out and saying, "Oh, he's not about this. He's not about that." He's out here just making moves, being independent, an entrepreneur, making money, continuing to say what he's going to do and actually accomplishing that. And people like you, people like Chris continue to go out there and be like, what is he doing? What has he done that's so great?
I did not say that. I actually think
that's what you just said.
No, I asked you why you put the crown on Tory Lanez.
Because now, I think that he's doing things different than what society says he should be doing.
Okay, let's take a step back. I think that Tory as an artist is a great artist. He does amazing things. However, I'm not necessarily judging him off of his art at the moment. There is this allegation from a year ago that he shot Megan Thee Stallion. Now, Megan said that justice takes a long time. We don't know exactly what's happening in the situation. Did they settle? Did they not settle? Is he in trouble? Is he going to jail? We don't know. We don't know anything about anything. So
we know Megan's stories changed 100 times.
Did it change?
All the time. Initially, it was the nothing happened. Then it was he shot me. Then it was like he shot me in the feet. And then it was like
wait, she shot me and he shot me in the feet is the same story.
Yeah, but it was like initially when you say he shot me, everybody's thinking one thing. Then it's like he shot me in the feet. But then when she told the police, she stepped on glass. So I mean, okay. And Tory's story is consistent the whole time
that it
didn't happen. That he didn't shoot her.
Well, okay. I think so. Are you bigging Tory up because of his music, or are you bigging up the fact that like you believe that he didn't do it and he's overcoming?
I believe Tory won, okay. And I also think what's happening is exactly what you were doing, is that somebody could come out, make an allegation. No, there's been nobody that said he's guilty, and yet you can say he shot somebody, and that'd be okay. And I think
didn't he shoot somebody?
Yeah, but still,
you're right. Like it's an allegation.
That's what I'm saying. There's already a narrative being created about him, and I think that's terrible. That it's so easy to be able to put that narrative on somebody because he didn't say anything. He just sat there and let Megan go off and say whatever she wanted to say, and it got to where now it's like let's joke about him shooting women, which I think is terrible. A terrible thing to be like accused of, and to people to run with it and be like, no, that's true.
So does the story change if he gets found guilty?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not saying I support, nor do I not support Tory. I just am kind of on the fence about it, just because like I don't want to call out Megan Thee Stallion because she is claiming to be a victim. So like I'll take that seriously for whatever that's worth, and I'm not gonna make fun of Megan because again, it seems like she's gone through something traumatic. We don't have all the answers to that, so I'm kind of just like on the fence. I don't know what to do. Now, do I support Megan Thee Stallion? Not really. I don't really listen to her music. I don't really like her music. But she is a person, and I take that into consideration. As far as her saying that the song with the baby is not going to come out because we know her and the baby pretty much like helped each other rise up the ranks, I think that she thought she had a friend in the baby, and that he was going to stand with her no matter what. And I think that these industry guys just kind of like, maybe they are friends, but hey, look, this is a good song. I like the guy. Y'all figure that out amongst yourself. And I used to think about this all the time. Like when people from YMCMB used to have like beef with other people, you would see them doing songs like Chris Brown used to do songs with Lil Wayne when Drake and Lil Wayne were beefing. And at the time I used to be like, how could you do that? You know, like how could you do a song with somebody that you're like industry buddy is beefing with? But then I was just kind of like, oh, they're kind of like, yo, that's y'all beef. This ain't got nothing to do with me. And I kind of was like, oh, okay, I can kind of respect that. You know, so I think the baby is coming out that way, and he's even responding to Partisan. So if you guys don't know who Partisan Fontaine is, that's Megan Thee Stallion's boyfriend. He's a very popular female rap writer. He's also a rapper himself. I'd probably say he's more on the struggle bus of rapping, but he's like, he wrote the song with Cardi, just be careful with me.
Oh, okay.
So he wrote that. He wrote that song. He wrote.
You're saying Cardi don't write her own music?
Oh yeah, that's when we came out. They came out and they were saying like Partisan Fontaine wrote that song like 3 years before it came out, and Cardi rapped on it and came out as a single. Yeah, and she addressed it and she was like, "Me and Partisan Fontaine work together, and he writes some of my songs." Yeah.
Wow. He
writes for quite a few women. So yeah, he's
and Drake.
This guy likes to uplift and tear people down all at the same time.
I was just asking a question. Isn't that the way that you get by with it?
The shade. But so he came out to defend his girlfriend, and the baby was like, "Man, you don't know about me," and it's true. I'm scared of the baby. This guy will beat his own fans up. So it's
entertaining to say the least, but
yeah, it is. But
Megan seems to be trashing every single relationship that she's ever had.
Well, I don't see that.
Yeah, she's had beef with her own friend, her own makeup stylist, her own my dude.
I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping up with Megan.
There's a track record of Megan Thee Stallion going toxic on her. At one point was her friends, and then she goes off and throws them under the bus for whatever reason.
Really?
She's the.
I know she was beefing with the owner of her label.
That's one of many.
But it was over contracts and money.
Yeah, but I'm talking about makeup artists. I'm talking about girlfriends. I'm talking about relationship with Tori, obviously. Like, all this stuff, it gets messy.
Yikes.
Now the baby, like, it's all, it's all messy, and there's only one common denominator, and it's not Tori.
Well, there's one thing we can do for Megan Thee, and it's to send our love and our prayers.
Absolutely.
Love and light. We hope everything's going to be okay. And if Partisan Fontaine and the baby fight, please don't mess up the links.
Oh, man. I just hope nobody gets hurt out of this situation is all I'm saying.
Don't mess up the links, all right? Because we sure ain't going to pay for it. All right, I want to show you guys this song that I quite enjoyed this week.
Are you willing to die for those Christians?
Huh?
Do you really feel fly in true religion? Did you think you would survive 5.56?
Did you?
You spent a
This
band
is the
on
LA
a burner
rapper.
and died with
Yeah.
it? 40 pointers on rollies, the time glisten.
Huh?
Superchargers on foreigns, we drive different.
Yeah, different.
What's this dude's name? I liked him.
Rumble.
Ramble.
It's Rumble.
I don't know why it reminded me of the Zach Fox song.
The which one?
If you ain't a Christian, I will shoot you in the face.
Rest in peace to Betty White. She ain't dead.
She
but...
ain't dead, but she died because I know it's coming up.
That reminds me of the Toby and Ngiwe.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Do you know who he is?
I am familiar with that name. What song did he have?
He had that. He said, "Try Jesus, don't try me because I throw hands."
Yeah,
He's
man.
actually one of my favorite rappers.
Rumble?
No, Toby, I can't even pronounce his last name. Toby and Ngiwe.
Toby and
No, but I'm saying, like, have you seen his visuals for his music videos?
No.
Dude, his story is amazing. He's a Houston rapper. He just put out this song called Fi. He has a song with Paul Wall that's amazing.
Paul Wall still rapping?
Dude, Paul Wall sounds amazing on the song too.
Wow.
And he lost a lot of weight. He looks good.
Did a few years ago.
Yeah, but Remble, I like the way he raps, and he's different for a Cali rapper too.
He is. So I think this is a gimmick because I went back and I listened to the past 3 years of his music, and he did not rap like this before. But it's like whatever this is, he like bodies that. Yeah. This like rapping and
it's the way he enunciates everything.
Yeah,
every syllable.
It's
like,
dope.
Oh, okay, right.
It's dope. I like this guy a lot. I tried to listen to an interview with him. He wasn't very entertaining, so I turned it off. But the music.
Like, why would anyone go against my smithing? His grave is his placement. He AWOL. Christopher Dorner and snipers with A call.
That's hard, man.
You hear the R's in Dorner?
Christopher Dorner.
Those are crisp.
I like that.
They're not overlaying his voice. It's just like the one voice.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like usually they have you like when in production they'll have you say the same line multiple times to give it like depth.
Yeah.
But they're just letting it go off of just the one take.
And maybe they didn't put any
auto tune and stuff like that. No, there's auto tune,
but there's like a little bit of that reverb. Yeah, I mean they didn't put that little touch of that reverb. Yeah, so there's a lot of music that's coming out. I saw Polo G's album came out #1. You guys listen to Polo G?
Not particularly.
Yeah, okay. Migos dropped a deluxe. Didn't go and listen to it. No. My lady Snow Allegra is coming out in July.
Ooh, she's dope.
I love me some Snow Allegra. I'm so happy Michael B. Jordan's not single.
Papa,
he's
taken.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke's album's supposed to be almost done.
That should be, well, I don't know. When the first posthumous album was really, really good, but now like when they squeeze a second album out of it, typically it's like not as good.
Oh
so
no, I think Pop Smoke, anything he touches is fire.
We'll see. I'm hoping it's great. Somebody else. Oh, my boys, Magic Jordan. They're on the way. I know probably y'all don't listen to Magic Jordan, but I love me some Magic. They're the OVO boys.
Now we know why.
I love Magic Jordan. I've been a fan of theirs for years.
You a fan of Imagine Dragons? Is that what you said?
Imagine Dragons be putting us some heat too. Nah. You know that one song with the guitar?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. I saw Dennis G put out a song called Father and Son.
Has there been the summer banger yet though that you've been waiting for? Hasn't really,
there's been a couple for me. 42 Doug put out an album that I liked a lot. The song with Hot Boy and Future I liked a lot. Maybach feature.
But nothing that's gone viral. Nothing that's like gripped the internet.
You know what we're doing. We waiting for Aubrey, man.
Could be, man. Because he always has like, last time it was what, God's Plan? Was it that last year?
No. The God's Plan, I think it was 2-3 years ago. Oh no. He had God's Plan, and the same year he had Kiki, which.
But he also had that one song with at the same time too. I can't even remember the name, but Drake definitely puts out bangers, and he hasn't dropped anything new yet this year.
He's had a bunch of features, so
but I'm saying his project. He hasn't dropped his single for the summer yet, correct?
Well, okay. So what I notice is he'll do the Scary Hours. So last time God's Plan was on Scary Hours 1, and then it went crazy. God's Plan is, I think, his biggest song in his entire catalog, and then he put God's Plan. He just transferred over some Scary Hours over to Scorpion. Horrible album, and I'll continue to say that. But so then he put out Scary Hours 2 this year. He's had an interesting run this year because he had the song with Dirk, then he had Scary Hours 2, which gave him the 1, 2, 3, if you remember that. And then I don't think there's anything on there that is really gonna claim the summer because it already is kind of gone.
Do you think there will be summer songs now that like TikTok is as big as it is?
Yeah, I mean it might be Rumble.
I feel like people aren't listening to songs anymore. They're listening to clips of songs. Like you have to have a clip that's fire. Because one thing that I'm watching these reels or like TikTok or whatever it is, and then there'd be the part of the song that you're like, wow, this is fire.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you listen to the whole song, you're like,
oh, this sucks.
That like this had
that's
nothing.
All you need, though. That's all you need, because once you hear the clip and it gets popular, now it's all over the radio. That's the only thing they play.
Oh, I don't know what's on radio anymore.
Wait, what? That's how they play on the radio from
TikTok. Every single hot top 100, top 40, whatever radio station, they're only playing TikTok tracks.
Wow, really?
Only playing TikTok tracks.
I did not know that.
I was I was on Chicago and had the rental, and I was like, turn on the radio, and every single song.
Wow.
So they're playing that De Niro song?
Every single one.
Wow.
Even the old ones.
Wow.
The old ones, quote unquote, because they were like.
I did not know. Well, I mean, I don't know anybody who listens to the radio.
Do you think do you think these album heads or these labels are still paying radio? Do you think radio still is making money off of playing songs?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A ton of money. If you really think about it, songs that go real crazy on the radio, you see the result of it. Like when Sicko Mode was playing all day on the radio, like sometimes you just turn your car on and you catch the radio for 2-3 minutes before you connect your Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. That song, you can see as a result, has like 800, 900 million views on YouTube. Every song that's hard on the radio, like go look at, I turned my car on the other day and I listened to that Bruno song. Granted, it is Bruno.
Bruno Mars?
Yeah,
He's fire.
It is Bruno, but like that
the Talking to the Moon
one.
song?
No, the new one. Talking to the Moon is 11 years old.
I know, but I'm saying it's TikTok relevant.
It is, right. But the new one like has a heavy radio push.
Yeah.
And
but
so
I feel like that's just Bruno
it.
Mars anyways.
That's why I was saying, like, it's kind of a tough one to say because Bruno is Bruno.
Yeah.
But like another example would be like The Weeknd. Like The Weeknd's songs have been top 5, top 10 for like a year and a half.
But I think that's just album. Him. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like somebody who wouldn't like you're talking Weeknd, Bruno, but these are established industry artists that are gonna.
But I think that they really benefit from radio push.
Drake as well. These are established industry. So like I don't know if I think the radio actually gets more interest from playing them than these guys do from the radio station. I think the radio station does better when these guys are putting out music versus the opposite way around because of how established they were. Now I could understand maybe when they initially came out, maybe the radio, but now at this point, Drake doesn't need the radio and he's still gonna go platinum. Bruno's doesn't need the radio, he's still gonna go platinum. Right. So they're gonna still sell out tours and all this kind of stuff. So I'm talking like, does the radio really who's the radio breaking now? I don't think the radio breaks anybody anymore. I think it's TikTok. I think it's
not so much about breaking. I think it's more about like it's like a stimulus package. Like if a song is kind of popular on the internet, the second it hits the radio, it gets to the mainstream consumer that like takes it from a song that has the ability to earn like 25 million views on a YouTube music video, and then it'll blow it up. It'll take it to like 100 million or 150. I think it's just that old school validation.
If I was a label and I was gonna put my marketing money, I would put it into the streaming sites versus the radio.
So you're saying playlist?
Yeah.
I think playlist gives you the streams and the revenue for the moment, but playlist I don't think builds an artist's name. Like I've been on playlists where I don't know who I'm listening to. Versus the radio, like they make a concerted effort to say like this is the new Sabrina Claudio.
They'll shout it out.
Yeah, like they'll give you the name, they'll play it nonstop. So it's like it I think the radio builds brands versus playlist. I think just like, okay, cool, like that was a dope song, but you don't really check in with the artist.
It's just not my experience anymore. I don't even know any radio stations. Like I know Power like 105.9 just from like
old school,
yeah. But like I couldn't tell you any radio stations now. I I get new artists from just the auto feed, like the next song comes on, and then you're listening to something, you're like, yo, this is dope, and then you look and you're like, oh, I need to look more into this artist. That's how I get people. So, or like a TikTok song and you're like, yo, this song is dope, and then you go to like Shazam and try to Shazam the song, and then that's how you do it. So like that's how I'm getting into new artists and stuff like that.
Right.
It's not the radio, because the radio, I'm not trying to listen to all those commercials and all the like,
right.
It's Power 105.9 and like
still passing out stimulus checks.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame. I think I get my new stuff from Instagram. Like if you have a song with a bigger artist, and that's when I'll like learn about you. Like if you have a song and you have like a Nicki feature, or if like I get a lot of my stuff from academics. Like typically he'll post things and I'm like, who the hell is that? But then he'll mention the person like 4 or 5 times and it's like, oh, okay, well, let me go check this out. And then like people naturally start making memes about it, and they just start.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's the internet that's breaking, like whether it be Instagram, TikTok, like I think these are where I would spend most of my ad dollars towards versus the radio, because I don't even know. Do young kids even listen to the radio anymore? Like,
I think they do. You know what? You know what I think is interesting. So Drake has a song with Draco the Ruler, right? And it's the song came out. I think I found out just like on Instagram story. Drake like posted like, oh, I have this feature with this guy, and so I heard the song. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool song. And then one day I heard it on the radio, and that's when I was like, oh, this is legit. That's in my mind, it connected, because in my head I was just like, oh, this is just like a streaming thing. Like you got Drake on the song, you have one big song now, you'll make your like $250,000, and then we're just gonna keep it pushing. But then when I saw that the radio was playing it, I was like, oh shoot, I might check out some of his other songs, and that's what.
But do you think that's because you're programmed? Because we come from a time where the radio was important.
Right.
But I'm saying a teenager now that's listening to everything off their iPhone, that's listening to everything off of TikTok, like when are they listening to the radio?
Well, I think like it's the same as like in the acting world. So sometimes I will see my friends do digital commercials, right? Like a commercial that pops up before our YouTube video. And it's like, oh, that's cool. But when you see them, like if you're at the gym or something and you see them on the TV screen, you're like, I don't know, like something else comes across you. I think
TV is still more relevant than the radio, because TV is still like, people are still watching TV. TV is still important. That's the only way you could watch sports. That's the only way you could watch, like certain shows and all that kind of stuff. The radio, think about it. What's the first thing you just said? Like, what's the first thing you do when you get into your car?
Well, yeah, you turn on.
I put my phone automatically. It goes straight to Bluetooth. Right. So like
sometimes I do listen to it though, like in between me turning my Bluetooth on, and I'll listen to the radio for a few minutes. Or sometimes like if it's a short drive, I'll listen. So that's how I know who like Big Boy is, Louis G, all those type of people. But like, I guess they just have to catch you. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think kids you grew up where we were like, Mom, Dad, can you play the radio? You know what I mean? Like we were excited about the radio.
Right.
Like I remember looking up on the internet, like what the radio's playlist was.
Oh, I never did that.
Yeah. So like they post like what the radio's playlist was, so you could like see what the new songs are out and stuff like that, and then search them and stuff like that. Now I don't think kids are ever listening to the radio. Like everything is on, they're buying, like you could buy Bluetooth speakers that just hook up to your phone, and then all you're doing is like listening to that. I've never seen anybody walk around with a radio anymore.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
Yeah, or like even have it in their house or whatever.
Yeah, I guess like I would have to ask some kids, like, do you guys listen? Because I feel like there are benefits for parents to just turn the radio on sometimes, like in a long drive where it's just like, I don't know what to play. The kids are here. At least that on the radio, they're going to censor the words and all of that. So it's kind of like a mindless thing to do when you're in the car. But But I do think I do still notice the correlation between a song that's really popping and how much it plays on the radio.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I think it's inverted now. I think that it gets really popping and then the radio plays it a bunch because
they stimulate it, right?
I think that's how they're gonna get ad revenue is because they're already playing stuff
that's popping.
That's popping, so people will listen to it. Versus they're the ones that made it popping now.
No, that's true. Like the radio is not breaking new artists. But like I said, I think that they're just putting in that extra.
The most popular. They're taking the most popular songs and then putting in. I think that's to Chris's point that like everything on the radio is these TikTok famous songs.
Right.
I think they got famous off of TikTok. They probably have social media people that are listening, watching TikTok, and then now that's how they're making their playlist based off of what's already hot in the streets.
But I'll tell you what, though, I think that the value of having a really popular song on TikTok is not very high. I think that like I think that people,
what do you mean by value?
So I think that people on TikTok just use sounds in general. Like there's a trend happening now where like women will take this sound and it's like a sound and then it'll like the second half of it is like, I'm not paying my taxes. I don't know where that sound came from, but it's like showing women when they were like really fit, and then the second half is when they're like not in great shape anymore. And so you see now
the girl next door. I live next door.
What is that?
Then, I don't know. It's from like
cartoon. So that's the thing that I'm trying to say. Like I think that TikTok isn't necessarily taking these songs to promote them. They're just like taking these short moments and they're like, oh, we're gonna use it to make our video, but I don't actually think it's intriguing enough people to pay attention to the artist. And I've seen enough, like this guy, the guy who made the Dinero song. So he was saying he made a TikTok about his song. It was the #1 trending song on TikTok. And he was like, nobody knows it's me. Like nobody is really paying attention to the fact that it's my song. They're just using this like 10, 15 seconds of the song to make their TikTok because it's a popular sound. But the next level of that is to develop the artist,
right?
Which I think like TikTok, yes, you may have a viral sound or a viral trend or whatever, but like the value of the virality is not very high. It's just kind of like used and then next and then used and then next.
Based off of how you use it, right? So I think that the game has changed as far as like you could go viral, but if you don't have a plan in place,
yeah, exactly,
because
like,
there's no more A&Rs, there's no more like artist development anymore. Now you're expected to do it all yourself, so you could go viral, but if you don't have a plan in place of, well, what do we do with this this added whatever like attention, like how do I make moves with this,
right? And you know what's funny too, but sorry to cut you off, but the guy who made that Dinero song, and he like was trying to tell people like, this is me, please like look my name up on the comments were like, we don't care, like we get it, you made the song, we don't care. Like it was just all like, who cares, we just like that one part, who cares, nobody cares, no, we don't care. Like I was like, well, damn, okay. So like to me, those little things, like I think challenges the artist, because 5 years ago having a viral challenge or a viral song meant a lot. Like the streams are gonna go crazy and people are gonna want to hear the next song. But now it's just like, feed it to us, give it to us, and then like we're moving on. So how do you develop an artist in this super microwavable era where like even your work doesn't really matter? Because
the music isn't what gets people famous anymore. It's the story around the person. That's why you see all of these like the Lil Pump era, XXX, like it's their like people are going
the clout era. Not
even just the clout. It's like kids are interested in the person, and then the music doesn't matter as much. You know what I mean? The music they're more interested in the whole story. So you gotta have your social media presence on point. Yeah. You gotta be content creators.
Yeah, you do.
It's not just like you can't be just a great musician. You have to be a great content creator. Because a guy like Jason Derulo is doing really, really well. I mean, he's a good artist, but like,
yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's not like the best R&B artist of all time. You know what I mean?
He's
but
an okay pop artist.
But he's probably better than he's probably doing better than much more talented people because of how well he does on social media.
Yeah.
Like I've been seeing him on this Jack in the Box commercial. I'm like, how's he like the dude? But
he's an early TikTok adopter.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
that's what I'm saying is like you can't just be a great artist. Like if Chris Brown started today, I don't know if Chris Brown would be as good as Chris Brown is.
But here's a little backlash to that, where I think Justin Derulo has to be Justin Derulo to
Jason.
Right.
Yeah, he's always gonna call him Justin.
Who's Justin Derulo?
I think he has to be this person to be this person. Like he has to be the guy that came up with that song 10 years ago to be the TikTok star that he is now, versus today. Like one thing I realized watching TikTok, like I went down the list of, my For You page, and I kept swiping over, and I'm noticing everybody has 500,000, 1 million, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. And like, I'm talking to Brie and she's like, the girl from TikTok. I'm like, dude, there are so many girls from TikTok. And I'm using that as like, there's so many people with followings on TikTok that like now that those followings like mean nothing. I not to say mean nothing, but like even me, I have 14,000 followers, and it's like I don't really think it means anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like it can though.
It can, but it's like it's hard to make it mean something.
See, that's where I think the game. It is hard, absolutely, but also there's a game towards it, right? I think now there's managers that know how to manage TikTok people, personalities.
Oh yeah.
There's
for sure.
a whole. I think that's where the industry is going.
Yeah, it's already there.
It's
already there. So they have that for OnlyFans.
I bet
they do.
I think like that's where the game I think has changed. And my point was that I don't know because I was just thinking like R&B groups. Remember how like dope they used to be? Like Jagged Edge, 112, Boyz II Men. Like I'm talking about like where it was like these are the groups. Even like you could go most recently, like B2K, Mindless Behavior, all this kind of stuff. Now like
Mindless Behavior.
Yeah, right. So, but after Mindless Behavior, who's the R&B group?
Tank and Tyrese.
TGT, right? So you take old solo artists and put them together. But I'm saying like I don't think just the music is important anymore. I think it's the stories that you're able to tell, the social media, the drama you could create around it, like or like all that kind of stuff. Like I think academics is probably gonna break more artists and make more artists famous than the radio.
Well, he has. Like, he's proven that with 6ix9ine. I think academics created 6ix9ine.
Right.
I think that.
All those people,
created,
I think,
but like,
helped them. I think academics did more for 6ix9ine than any radio station did. I think academics did more for XXXTentacion than any radio station
Plus,
did.
Plus, they couldn't. The radio stations like pretty much can't play those songs.
Right.
But Drake actually has a really good line where he said he's the only artist that's still known for the music. And I think that's an interesting line because, damn, like, who do you know? Like, even for me, when J. Cole comes out, I'm not that excited to hear about his music. Like, I think I was more excited about him playing basketball than his music. Because once I heard the songs, I was just like, okay. But I think, like, Kanye, Kendrick, Drake, maybe Jay-Z, but Jay-Z is like the ultimate businessman now.
Right.
Like, I think those 50. Guys, music-wise?
I'll say for you, I don't know. Me, there's still artists that I'm really excited about.
No, I was thinking like the actual music.
Yeah.
Like, where I think
Pop Smoke's like that for me.
Okay.
Like, I'm excited to hear anything. Obviously, he's not making new music, but if Pop Smoke is in the song, I want to listen to it for the music.
So did you like the him and the Migos song?
I haven't even heard it.
But yeah, like he made that statement that he's like the only person that's still known for the music, making like good music. And to me, it's interesting that statement is being said, especially by a rapper, because like rap is a hard space to make versatile music, you know. So when he said that and he was asked about it, I think in that B Dot interview, it really actually stuck with me. Like I had to think about it. I was like, okay, I personally like love to hear new Weeknd music. I like to hear new Drake music. I like to hear new Kendrick music. It took me a long time to become a Kendrick fan, but like he's a great artist. Right. Like he makes really good music, not just rapping, but like, you know, and a couple of like R&B dudes, you know, and that's kind of it, you know, where everybody else, I'm like, oh, I'd rather just like see you do stuff on Instagram.
And I also think just things have changed in general as far as like, I don't think people have the patience to listen to a whole album anymore. I think it's just one-off tracks that really you're going to make up. Because there's a whole, and I've been getting into like a lot of like UK stuff. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of these UK artists, they have just a lot of different ways of exposing artists out there that we don't have as much here. Remember The Basement with Tigga? Mm-hmm. Remember how much that used to do for artists? Like to be able to go out there, and I think Sway kind of does that with his 5 Fingers of Death and all this kind of stuff. Right. Mm-hmm. UK has all of those shows out where they just are able to expose artists and have them perform and all that kind of stuff. Like what 106 in Park used to be like for artists and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's not that much in the US anymore.
Well, I'm going to give you a startling stat. So even deep into 2016, one of the biggest revenue drivers for the United Kingdom was rock and roll music. So I think that they know that their GDP is heavily based on entertainment, heavily based on music. People are receptive to music out there, very different than how it's consumed here in the United States, where like, there's way more people, the money doesn't circulate the same way. So I think that like it's consumer driven, where here in the United States, people are just like, okay, we don't need 106 in Park anymore. Like that was cool to have back in the day, but like US consumers don't have the patience to watch that show. Like we don't want to watch a countdown. We just give us the list and we'll just choose whatever we want, you know. So I think that just the difference in how people are consuming things in the different countries makes because if there was a demand for that here, but you better believe there's somebody who's gonna give you a big Tigga's Basement and all that kind of stuff. But like I think that they just quickly realize like, we don't want that here. Just post it on Instagram and that's kind of it.
And that could absolutely be true, but it's huge. That's what I'm saying. Like, but I think they do a lot of artist development through stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean it's wise because you know we have been flipping artists, you know, every year for a long time now, for at least like a good decade. You know what I saw at on a screen, like I was window shopping and I saw on the screen Duro.
I don't know who that is.
Ice cream paint job. You know that song?
Yeah.
That was like they were playing a Duro song on the TV screen, and I was like, "Whoa, what year am I in?" You know. So like, I always think about the fact that Fetty Wap in 2015 was the biggest artist in the world, and now he's just kind of like, not to say he's a nobody, but like
he's more known for Love and Hip Hop.
He's on Love and Hip Hop.
I think his girl or that girl he had a baby with. He didn't claim initially. It was in that what's it called? That marathon I was watching in Vegas.
Yeah. The one in Vegas, huh? Not the one you was watching last night, huh?
I don't have cable, bro. I don't know where to watch it at.
But you see what I'm saying? Like Fetty Wap was the biggest artist in the world, and then he kind of just like fell into whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't have
that development, which is necessary.
Online presence. I think like that's what I'm saying. Like that's where people go get famous is through their online presence. It's not through the music anymore. So I agree probably that Drake is one of the last artists that
cares about their
art. Or is known because of just primarily music, because Drake isn't a big social media guy. Like you don't know much about Drake other than what other people are telling you about Drake. But Drake isn't coming out doing content on a regular basis. So
no, he just posts like regular pictures and stuff, but he's definitely not little pumping his way to fame.
And I wonder if Drake didn't come out when Drake came out, if he would be the same Drake.
For sure. Like timing
I don't think he would be as big if he tried to do it. If Drake, nobody knew about Drake, he didn't have Degrassi, all that kind of stuff. He just came out straight as an artist with music right now. Even as good as his music is, I doubt he'd have the same.
It's true. It's true. I think about that too. Like sometimes I play some of the old catalogs. Like this morning I was listening to You Wasn't With Me Shooting in the Gym, right? Like just like classic songs that meant a lot at that time, like meant a lot in 2010. But like I was the right age to be listening to it, and it was like pre-streaming. It was just like such a different mentality, such a different vibe. Like it's honestly just crazy to me to see an artist like Drake or like even Tyga or any of these like pre-streaming guys that are still around, still doing their thing, and they're doing it at a high level. It just like blows my mind. And to see that like there are some people who just can't be replicated, right? Like I think the Migos have a bunch of people who run around that sound like them. Like Chief Keef have a bunch of people that sound like them. Right? Young Thug has a lot of people running around that sound like him. But there's only a few people who kind of have a Drake-esque, Tyga-esque, Lil Wayne-esque feel to them, and they don't do it the same way. And when people try to mimic it, people are quick to say like, no, you know, like go figure it out your own way, you know? And I think that's just like, damn, like you figured out something about you that makes you so special. Like Future, I think like Future has people that kind of sound like him, but when Panda came out and people were just like, you are too much like Future, it just let you know like we like our artists to be themselves, right? And you do that and no one else touched this.
And props to Lil Wayne because he kind of put all those people on.
He did.
She just said, he's really good. And Nicki is the same thing. Like she's very unique in her style as well. Even though there's a lot of female rappers that came out, like I feel like Nicki still separates herself as far as them. And Lil Wayne has done a really great job of finding these talents and then also giving them the right type of advice to continue to be themselves versus, you know, try to be something different.
Exactly.
I think Kanye's like that too.
Yeah.
You know, very unique. Like, you know, when it's a Kanye song.
Yeah.
Pusha T, I think, is like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Pusha T he's a one in a generation talent.
Yeah.
You know, like the way that he raps, his ear for music is really just amazing. And just to see that he's older.
Very underrated as far as the type of business he's done as well.
Yeah. And sometimes like some people don't want to be known for that.
Yeah.
You know, because like they just go out there and do it. Like Rick Ross is somebody who's like, I'm about my business, you know. But like I think Pusha is like, give me my rap credit, you know. Like Ice Cube is like that. He's like he's a full-on great businessman, but he's very much so at the end of the day, like I want to be known as like one of the greatest rappers.
Right.
You know, and even in the like new age era, like people like Lil Yachty, who his music may not sell very well, but dang, that boy knows how to put his fingers into things and make it make sense for him. It's just amazing. Like it's amazing to see what hip hop and what R&B and all these things have created for people, and just listening to people like Master P who are like, yo, the content is gonna be there. Your music is gonna sell, but it ain't gonna sell for a very, 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 very long time. So you have to figure out how to make your money work for you, especially depending on like what you want your lifestyle to look like. You know, to see that these guys are opening up their own clubs, they're producing TV shows, Quavo's producing a horror movie. Like it's like it blows my mind. It really does. You know, 15 years ago, our favorite artists were just artists, and then they just fall off. You know,
and they weren't even like. That's the difference now. I think you can't just be an artist. You have to be either aware of the business side of things or have a really good team around you that is aware of it, because you have to be able to be an entrepreneur. And that's not, I think it extends from music to the athletes now, because you can see the athletes now are becoming moguls as well, as far as diversifying their stuff, getting involved in things. And then you can also see like the difference, like some of these guys who aren't like the best artists or the best athletes, like you just named Lil Yachty, but you see a lot of these like athletes that weren't super popular as athletes, but their fame after being an athlete is much bigger. Like Emmanuel Ansho, Marcellus Wiley, these guys weren't really like necessarily like all pro players or people that everybody knows about. But Emmanuel Ansho just won an Emmy for being, ESPN or Fox Sports personality or whatnot. Wow. So like he's an author, he's all these kind of things. So like a lot of these guys that are understanding of business and smarter and stuff like that, they're able to take whatever little in that they had, make the right connections, and then create the business themselves as the business after, which is important. Like any young artist, any young athlete, like you got to know you can't just settle for just the one talent that you have. Utilize that and then spread that talent to give you generational wealth versus just a job, Do
you know who Junior Bridgman is?
No, I don't.
So he was a basketball player, and I believe like he never became a, superstar, household name, nothing like that. But off season, he used to go work at Wendy's, and he would just like see how Wendy's works, flipping burgers, dunking the fries and all that stuff. And so I believe he only made $300,000 a season. And he took the money, and after he was done with his basketball career, he opened up a Wendy's. And from there, he ended up opening up a ton of Wendy's. The last time I checked his net worth, he was worth like $300 million.
Wow.
And his sons work at his corporation. His daughter work at his corporate. Like these guys, it starts with one person like that who is just like, I learned a lesson from people like, for example, Mike Tyson, who like blew that $300 million. Now, it's not to say that like Mike Tyson is not somebody who learned his lesson too, because I think for Mike Tyson, money like, made life kind of weird.
Right.
But with somebody who has their head screwed on a different way, maybe not the right way, but a different way, who's like, this money is not going to become me, but I'm going to utilize it as a tool to change the life of my family and things like that. To hear that his kids are working at the corporation, that just tells me like he didn't just say like I'm gonna be rich and woohoo. No, he like said, okay, I'm going to create a bridge that expands to my children, that they are educated, they are making moves, they are creating opportunities for other people. That kind of stuff, like, it gives me the chills. It really just, like, I can't wait to see what some of these rappers and these ball players' kids do in the future. Like, are they going to be people that live the trust fund baby life, or are they going to like expand whatever mom and dad
upon
did.
It. Yeah. And I think both you and I really admire strategy, right? So we are amazed. Like, where other people will find reasons to hate on somebody, we're like, yo, do you realize what this person was able to do? Like somebody like Floyd Mayweather, who took, his ability to, be one of the greatest boxers of all time, but just what he's been able to create from just a boxing thing is like, there's no other boxer. Like, even, Muhammad Ali is known for all of his stuff, how he changed society through, his political stuff and all that kind of stuff. But just on a business sense, there's probably not another boxer in history that has been able to create what Floyd Mayweather has created. And to the point where he's made it feel like all boxers should be able to do what he's able to do, but they don't understand how smart he is as a businessman. Like, he's getting paid because of his strategy, not just because he's in this sport. And I think that's where like a lot of people kind of think that, oh, well, it's just they're in this job. Like, there's a reason why you could have the same job as somebody, but maybe somebody's doing way better than you you are. It's not just the job. It's like what you use that platform for, what's your strategy once you do this.
Yeah. It's so true. You know, I think, especially like from people who, you know, historically come from these places that, you know, opportunity is not a dime a dozen. You know, like once you get it, you better do it right.
Right.
And there's so many stories of people who fumbled the bag. You know, like they got huge earnings and they thought it was never going to go away. Like T-Pain tells this great story of how he earned $40 million and then lost all of it, you know, and to the point where like he had to borrow money to buy his kid Happy Meals. And you would never think that from the guy who made buy you a drink, you know. And so like he's learned these life lessons where now like T-Pain has this new lease on life and a new wind in his career where he gets to do it all over again, but maybe it's not in music this time. He's got the Nappy Boy video games. He got all these things happening in life right now where now he's learning that lesson. And that's why I always say, like, you're not a true success until you have people around you that you've created successes from,
right?
You know, because sure, you can make $1 million, but you could take that $1 million and throw it on the ground and it will not turn into anything. Even if you take your money and you put it in a savings account and the bank does whatever they do with it, they take it, they invest it, they give you your 1% back. There is somebody out there that you did not meet that is benefiting from the fact that you put it in this system and you allowed the strategy to work that way. It's just like, it's just amazing. Like, it's really amazing. Just even going back to these rappers, like all the things that they're doing, because again, they never know when their last hit is coming, you know? And I saw this interview with a designer where they were kind of criticizing him. Like, man, you ain't had another hit. And he was like, dude, do you know how much property I own?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, my money is being circulated and this, that, and the third, all this stuff? He pretty much was like, I don't need another hit.
Yeah.
You know? It's just amazing.
And there's a lot of people with big hits that are probably not as successful as designer is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, or like they just like, they have bad strategy. They just
right.
get all their hit money and they spend it and then moving on. Like, hopefully we can get another one.
And that's why, like, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, the people that I am like amazed by. Like, I'm amazed by Soulja Boy. Like, I think he is amazing for how he's able to stay relevant so long, and then he only needs to be relevant at the beginning of the year, and then he utilizes that relevance for the whole year with all of his business things. Or like the Paul brothers. I'm amazed that like they're doing social media much different than everybody else is. Like, all their multiple streams of income, what they've been able to create now with these fight leagues and stuff like that,
and they get people to hate them, which is so smart.
They understand the value of being hated. They understand,
so
like, and that's the genius. They're not letting their egos take over. Everything is strategic, and because of that, they're multi-millionaires. And what was their talent? Their talent was making funny videos on Vine. You know what I mean? And so when you say, like, going back to what you said earlier about like just having a presence on TikTok isn't valuable, I think it is valuable if you know what to do with it. Because like, if you have 300,000 followers or 1 million followers on TikTok, if you could figure out a way to even get $1 out of every single one of those people, you're a millionaire.
No, it's true. And so I'm approaching TikTok numbers a little bit different. And I say that because TikTok is not it's not a super followable app. So you don't have TikTok. So you watch TikTok on Instagram. Right. Where Instagram really promotes the top 100 people that you like to watch, right? TikTok doesn't necessarily do that. TikTok's algorithm and the way that it's set up, like the For You page is where you live, right? So if I decide to follow Chris, I can follow Chris and then never see his stuff ever again. You see what I'm saying? Like, TikTok is such a unique app because it gives people this taste of virality, but it may not give you the whole meal. So I've seen people who have like 1.7 million followers and then their TikTok has 1,000 views. and it was posted a week ago. And so it's like the app is not 100% designed to give you this long lasting ability to build on top of it, which I understand on the consumer side, because the consumer wants to watch new things from new people that is highly engaging. But if Chris doesn't put out something highly engaging every single time, then he'll lose cachet on my timeline. It's such a unique app. I think it's so intelligently built because it favors the consumer more than the creator. But at the same time, like, all the TikTok people recognize that, and that's why they keep sending you to their other platforms. The moment that they can get you to watch their video, they're like, please follow me on Instagram, please follow me on YouTube, please. And you see that, and at first, like, if you just jump on the app, you're like, damn, why do they keep saying, why not stay here? TikTok has a creator fund and all this stuff, right? But it's like, TikTok is not made for the same consumer to watch the same person over and over and over. They want you to watch, like, you don't have TikTok, right?
I used to. I don't know if it's changed since I had.
Oh, it's big change. So, like,
because who I used to follow, their new videos always used to show up in my For You or whatever.
Oh no, it doesn't really work that way anymore, unless it's somebody who like makes the. So with TikTok, when I went viral on TikTok, I tested it out. So if I put the same type of video out over and over and over, I will get the numbers, right? That's how I got my little 14,000. And then once I decided, like, I really don't want to put the same stuff out over and over, TikTok will suppress it and say, like, we're not putting this out because that's not why you went viral. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the algorithm definitely understands what the people want to see, what the people are interested in. And then, like, if you don't give them that, then it will just, like, done. Right. So you kind of are stuck making the same type of things over and over and over and over again. And then if you decide to break away from that, you will see the difference numerically. It's a very smart app. Very, very smart. These tech people.
What are you trying to say about China?
Did China produce it or did they buy it?
I think China created it, right?
Because it was Musical.ly before.
I don't know. Somehow China has something to do with TikTok. That's why I don't have it.
Them folks are smart over there.
Hey.
Ain't they?
Yeah, but there goes our podcast. There goes our podcast. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think the game is changing, and it's wise to be on the forefront. Like, don't wait. Like, always be researching success stories and what caused them to be successful versus thinking you know it all. And I think that's the mentality that most successful people have in any industry is like, learn from others that are doing it and always be aware of the new person that's figured something else out.
Right.
Copy, steal, cheat.
Oh, that's the way. Absolutely. And no matter what, as much as you copy and steal and cheat, like, whatever you do your way will always be your way because you can't copy exactly what somebody else does.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. Have you seen any of the new Rory and Mal?
Clips.
Oh, okay.
But like from other people ripping like their clips off of and then like talking about it.
Got it.
Yeah, I haven't sat through a whole episode of theirs. No. I saw like something about their audio was off on one of their episodes or something like that.
Yeah, so they did a group think with Justice from LVRN and Earl Sweatshirt and Westside Boogie, who I'm a pretty big fan of. And the audio is not good, but I can totally understand why. So if you see our setup here, it's three of us, right? And we have a board that, Chris, how many can we put in the board? Like 4 mics, maybe?
4 mics.
4. Okay. So if it's like a group of like 5 or 6 people, and none of them have mics, so they're trying their best to get audio from a ton of people all at once.
Right.
So I could definitely see why the audio didn't quite work that way, but they're also new at it. I'm not saying to give them grace. Like, I love like challenging people to do better. But I can definitely see like they didn't know how to do it. I powered through the episode with Earl Sweatshirt and Justice and whatnot, and I think that their format is a little, but people tend to like it. I had a 250,000 views when I watched it.
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. And they talked about Joe a little bit, and Mal was saying that like his whole experience with Joe was cap.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw that clip.
Yeah.
Seems like Mal's still a little bitter.
Well, I don't think anything has been solved, and that's what they said.
I think they're done as friends. I don't think you could go back. At least if Mal is true to what he says he is, right? Because I don't know if one, I don't see how this is the first time that this has ever happened to Mal with Joe, because it seems like this is just who Joe is, kind of thing. But the way that Joe did it, I think Joe has truly become a podcaster where everything is fair game on his pod. I don't think he has a personal life anymore, like to keep stuff off of the air. Like he just is always figuring out a way to create new content. And if that means, throwing Mal and Rory under the bus, he's going to do that. And I think that's where Mal's the most upset, is that everything happened publicly versus just keeping it private. And Mal's, from what I see, seems like a private person. So to see now that everything is so messy out in the public, I don't know if that's like Mal's stance, but he seems to be riding with it. Like
what can you do?
Yeah,
what can you do? I think that there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. Like Joe doesn't, he definitely doesn't tell us everything, but I do think that like as friends. The tough thing is like when you have somebody like Joe who like sees himself as so much greater than, he sees himself as more deserving than, and you can tell that like even with the new guys, he kind of goes back to like he's very controlling of what they can say and the topics that they talk about and all that kind of stuff. Like you can see that this podcast is his baby and you can't stop me. Like you can't stop them from, but the unfortunate part about that is like when you're doing things in a collaborative way, sometimes you just have to let people do what they do. Even in film, like when we're filming something, the director he can control as much as he or she can control as much as they can control, but like there are limitations to what you're able to do. So I think that it just comes down to what is your ability to lead? Like what is your ability to recognize talent in someone else and offer them the opportunity to be themselves fully? And on the back end side, like what is your ability to be completely transparent with the people that you're doing business with? And it seems like Joe doesn't really have that much ability when it comes down to that, and he's still learning as well, because he was the person who was getting paid before, and now he's the person paying.
Right. I think it also is being aware of yourself. So for example, like I think that if Joe Budden had a whole bunch of Parks on the show, he'd be fine. Totally. Because that's the type of person he should be working with.
Right.
So I was listening to, I listened to this podcast with a guy by the name of Curtis Schoon, and he does the show called Politicking with Jason Whitlock. And Jason Whitlock just branched out, and now he's partnering up with Blaze TV and doing his own thing. And Curtis Schoon was on there asking Jason Whitlock about, well, what are we going to do with this show? Are you going to put it on Blaze and all this kind of stuff? And then Jason Whitlock had an answer. He's like, Curtis, I enjoy doing this with you, but as far as like working together and being partners, I don't think that'd work out for us, because we're both alphas, and at one point or another, we're going to get in each other's way. So I'm happy to help you as far as, like do the show with you, promote your stuff and things of that nature. But as far as being a show on my platform, or, being a partner with me on my platform, I don't think that would work out. And some people might look at that and be like, oh, he's egotistic, all this kind of stuff. But me being like somebody that's run my own business, worked with people, partnered with people before and all this kind of stuff, I was like, that is a genius person to do that, because one, it's not going to affect the relationship, because you never put yourself in that position to be able to get to a point where you could ruin it. Because Joe, I don't think Joe, Rory, and Mal probably felt they'd get as big as they actually did. They were probably just doing it just to have fun, and they thought they'd make money off of it, but they didn't realize how big they would get. But I think if they looking back, they probably could be like, knowing if we were going to get this big, we probably can't work together, because, or our relationship would have to be different. We can't act like we're friends and do business like we're friends. We need to separate this and be business partners, where what they try to do at the end, they should have done that from the start. Right. Have their lawyers be involved, create contracts, not just handshake, friendship, all that kind of stuff. Right. And they would have been fine. That self-awareness, I think, is super important, that a lot of people don't have. They're just like, oh, we could make it through. And there's stresses that come with, business, with, relying on people, like being friends. Like you could be unreliable and people will be like, man, that's just him or whatever. But then when business is involved and you're unreliable, that's a completely different, type of thing. So it's like I think people don't realize that, and that self-awareness is important. I think Joe Budden can be the center of attention and all things can run with him. He has to be self-aware as far as who he brings on the show, because he can't have any alphas on there with him, because an alpha won't put up with Joe. And Joe, as much as he wants to act like he wants constructive criticism and all that kind of stuff, no, he doesn't. No. He wants yes men. That's why Parks is perfect for him, because Parks has no opinions anti-Joe. It's gonna be whatever
here and there, but it's not hard opinions.
No, it's
not hard opinions.
He's not gonna fumble his bag. He's not gonna put himself in a position where he gets fired from Joe, because he relies on Joe for everything. Right. So there's no way he's getting the real from Parks, because Parks is indebted to Joe, or feels like he needs Joe. You can't get the truth from somebody who feels like that feels like they need you. And those are the type of people that Joe likes to surround himself by.
Absolutely. I don't know if you listen to the show anymore, but I heard him say that he doesn't have the Cash App deal anymore.
I stopped listening to Joe when everything became black person versus white person. I'm like, come on, bro. Like when Joe started putting on the cape, talking about he's fighting for all these injustices and all this kind of, I'm just like, man, like, talk to me about album breakdowns, bro. Like, that's why I listened to you in the first place. You telling me you're the most oppressed person in like, I'm just like, dude. I would trade my life for your life any day of the week, as far as like financially and with, like, what the opportunities you have and all this kind of stuff.
Right. Sheesh. All right, let's round it out. I'm interested in going a couple places next month. Do you guys have any suggestions?
As far as like traveling? I thought you just said you're going to Costa Rica and Hawaii.
Those are all for work.
Oh, you trying to go like vacay?
Yeah. I want to like go kick my feet up.
I'm different now, bro. Like I like stuff that's gonna be like nature bound.
Yuck.
You want to go see cities?
Okay, so I don't necessarily want to go see more pavement. Like we're here in LA, which is like, concrete jungle. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be stuck in the forest. Right. So I want like something kind of like in the mixture of like a little city, a little bit of
Santa Barbara, San Jose. You could get like half beach, half.
No, I can fly now. I can fly now.
I think you should go Ocean City, Maryland. Just because you can,
don't have to.
Ooh, what is that?
So it's like, one thing about our like culture out here on the West Coast, like our beaches, everything is different. On the East Coast, the vibes are much different in the oceans and stuff like that. Maybe it's the Pacific Ocean or whatever, but it's not as like party as our beaches are.
Oh.
So like there's a lot more, like Ocean Beach is pretty cool, like a lot of stuff, really great seafood and stuff like that. I don't eat seafood. You're not that into seafood. Yeah. But it's just like a different vibe. Atlantic City is more of like the party vibe. Like if you want to go there. I know you're trying to stay away from Florida, so like
I have a,
why don't you do like Nashville?
Yeah, that would be dope.
Nashville, like Memphis.
There. Nashville got hella food.
Yeah, I would definitely go do that.
Memphis, like that's pretty dope. Chicago's always a dope place to go.
Chris was just out there.
Chicago in the summertime is great. Like they have, well, I don't know about COVID time, but like before COVID time.
Well, everything's open now.
Well, but they usually have all of these like festivals and food fairs and stuff like that. I don't think they're doing that stuff now.
Sick.
But another place is Denver.
So Colorado's high on my list of places I want to go, just because, like, even though I'm not a super nature-y person, just the views over there, what I've heard, like screensaver type stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely go see that, unless they got bobcats in it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stay right here.
And then always Hawaii, man.
There's bobcats.
Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii.
Dude, you need to go.
You've been to Hawaii?
I've never been.
Yeah, I've never been.
I have. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Which island did you go to?
I've been to Oahu, I've been to Maui, and I've been to Honolulu, and I've been to the big island. I saw a volcano, actually, active volcano.
Wow.
Yeah, we
you
did
on a
helicopter ride. Yeah, I was out there for a week.
Damn. Yeah.
But if you had to pick one island, I'd say Maui.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I'm back. I want to go somewhere because next month is looking a little slow. So, like, why not just go?
Take advantage.
Yeah, take advantage.
Jamaica's always nice.
Treat yourself.
I went to Jamaica 21 years ago. Yeah.
They have the all-inclusive resorts.
Crazy.
No other way to vacation.
All right. We in there. All right. Anything else?
Nah, I think we should just like everybody that's paying attention to us and like watching us, we're starting to make some moves.
Yep.
As far as like pay attention to our social medias. Like if you could like like subscribe to the YouTube channel, obviously.
Yep.
Share any videos that you see. Get on our Instagram. We're making some moves, getting some people added to the team to help us expand the platform. And we want you guys to engage too. Any comments that you guys can put on our videos or messages that you send to the Instagram, our Twitter. We want to hear from you guys as well. So if you guys feel like letting us know about what you guys think, please do. It's always welcome.
Thank you so much. And we'll catch you next week.
Bye.